This broadcast of the ASEAN Basketball League may not be reused in any way, shape, or form without an express written consent of the ABL.
Delvin, go right there, another block by Delvin.
Wide open is Regulus. Back-to-back triples for Moto Vampire.
Only 7 remaining, he makes his move. Young forces it up, and in! CC hasn't made a shot before that.
Pretty good so far here in the first half.
Lie. Oh, everyone for the Black Bears finding the bottom of the net. Leaky with a big steal. Leaky for 3. That goes in. What a play.
On a sunny evening in Bangkok, Thailand, the Mono Vampire Basketball Club will look to strengthen their stronghold on the top seed in the ASEAN Basketball League as they take on the defiant Singapore Slingers in Season 10 of your ABL action. Welcome everyone. You've got Chuck Araneta together with TK, Sajatam Kulsumboom, and TK. What a run it has been for Mono Vampire. They're looking to win their 3rd straight game and keep the top seed so far in this ABL's conference.
Oh yeah, they've been doing really well this season, especially here at GSB Stadium 29, continuing their streak here at home, 7-1 already in this venue. The Singapore Slingers just got to bring everything they have into this game.
Well, the Slingers are also coming off a loss in the Straits Cup, the first time to not get the Straits Cup victory in over 4 years. So, however, they were still able to get the win against the Kuala Lumpur Dragons. Now we look at what Mono Vampire was able to accomplish in their previous conference. They got the win. But before that, let's meet first the protagonists from both squads.
Number 10, Rion Quag. Number 13, Jun Yon Lim. Number 15, Xavier Alexander. Number 17, Eun Han Bin. Number 21, Anthony Mclean. Number 23, Devin Go. And number 25, Lavin Laj. Head coach, Mr. Leo Bengzin. Assistant coach, Mr. Michael Johnson. And now, this time, to introducing for the team, Mono Vampire Basketball Club!
Step back to a foul. Alab ties it up with that big shot.
First player number 36, Sorot Suntan Siri. Number 65, Tino Ajantajan. Number 14, ทิพย์บุญเสริม Number 91 ชนะชนกล้าหาญ Number 50 Preston Knowles Number 33 นพพรแสงทอง Number 0 Frederick Rich Number 11 Moses Morgan Number 77 Vijay Ananti Number 22 Mike Morrison Player number 1 Tyler Lamb and number 7 Michael Singletary and head coach Mr. Andre Ulla.
Mono Vampire challenging the Singapore Slingers. The Slingers will continue on the road for the second straight game. And like you mentioned, TK, they're at 7-7 right now, coming off a win against the Kuala Lumpur Dragons, while Mono Vampire have made it 2 straight wins heading into this contest. Now the question is going to be if Preston Knowles will be available in this contest. And that's something that the team still has to look out for. However, what they were able to do was very impressive. They took on a very tough Taipei Fubon Braves. TK brought them into overtime, but they were still able to get the win down the stretch.
Yeah, that was a great performance by the Mono Vampire. As you mentioned, without Preston Knowles just fighting, and especially that guy there, Chanachon Glahan, coming in to the first time this season and putting up some good minutes.
Well, on the other side, it was Anthony Mclean who really did the dirty work for almost the entire game for the Slingers, but a fortuitous slip of Artino, and he was able to get that tip in that eventually became a game winner for the Singapore Slingers.
Yeah, besides all of the numbers, the monstrous numbers there for McLean, that bucket really put it in, and also his front court partner Delvin go there with the slam to start a big performance. 15 points, 10 boards. The rising star of the Singapore Slingers. You just really love to see Delvin go continuing to improve on and on each season in the ABL.
Absolutely. He seems to be adding something different to his game with each passing season, and how he's really become a one of the stabilizing forces for the Slingers. When you talk about stabilization, you can't get any further than Xavier Alexander, who continues to bring it. Just registered his 4th triple-double of the season, and he needed every single point, rebound, and assist to take care of the Dragons.
Well, yes, Xavier Alexander just keeps on stuffing the stats in the ABL. Just another regular game for him there. They're just going to have to really hope that he keeps doing that here in Thailand against the Mono Vampire.
And maybe get a lot of help as well, because it's a tough, deep Mono Vampire squad. And we talked about the absence of Knowles in the previous game, TK. This man stepped up. We know that Lish is one of the most volatile, explosive performers in the ABL. And boy, in the starting role, he really brought it for Mono Vampire.
Well, yeah, Freddie Lish is just another example of how deep the Mono Vampire bench really is. A team that can really go 8-9 players deep down their bench, even without a guy like Preston Knowles. Freddie Lish is able to step in, make big shots, make big plays as well, even without scoring the basket.
Just like the good old days where Freddie Lish was raining threes and driving relentlessly on all kinds of defense. But Mike Singletary, once again leading the charge, was jawing for a lot of the game against Chuck Garcia. He is the emotional, he is the leader for this Mono Vampire squad, and he's registering a double-double per game this season for Mono Vampire.
Just regular numbers for Michael Singletary, but I feel like the biggest moment for him in that game was the clutch 3 right here, just as Charles Garcia was taunting him, and that really shifted the momentum back to the Mono Vampire side after the Fubon Braves were making their run.
Well, Singletary will be tasked to lead the squad once again against this tough Slingers guard, but we've also got a tasty matchup between these two friends now turn foes as Tyler Lamb and Marcus Elliott will go head-to-head. These two guys, no strangers to each other, TK.
Yeah, winning a championship together in the ABL back in 2017. There's two great scorers that really know how each other play. They faced up really well the last time playing in OCBC. It's going to be a firecracker here as they play against each other once again.
Two MVPs going head-to-head. Now we look at some of the keys to the game for Mono Vampire. We know that the pace for the Slingers is going to be key. Mono Vampire does not want to play at the pace of the Singapore Slingers. And you got to imagine, TK, that which team will be able to really dictate the number of points and possessions. That is going to be a big key to this matchup.
Yeah, as these two teams are kind of playing contrasting in styles of play. The Singapore Slingers really try to drag the tempo down, playing that half-court set. Mono Vampires, on the other hand, they really excel in getting into transition, getting into those fast break situations, and whoever can swing the tempo of the game their way is going to have the advantage here.
Well, you take a look at the lineup right now, and Lish is still in the starting five. Doesn't look like Knowles will be available, although that's something we're going to be monitoring for the entirety of this ball game. But we've seen that Mono Vampire is in capable hands when it is Freddie Lish running the show.
Yeah, even with Knowles not available, they still have Moses Morgan coming off the bench. Chicha and Nante able to come off the bench as well. Just a deep roster for Coach Andre Erler to play around with.
We're just moments away from the Slingers tangling with a Mono Vampire. Now, the first game was in the OCBC Arena, and that was a win by Mono Vampire. They took the W 67-65, so there's a little bit of revenge on the minds of the Singapore Slingers in this matchup. And not just that, it is a rugged race in the playoffs right now, and the Slingers are at 7-7. They're basically in a lock with teams like the Formosa Dreamers. They're trying to catch up to the Taipei Fubon Braves. This is a very important win, especially if they can try to knock down a very tough squad in the Mono Vampire Basketball Club.
Yeah, all top 7 teams in the standings are sitting at 500 or above right now. So any win at this point in the season is crucial to their playoff chances and the seeding going into that postseason play.
Xavier Alexander and company on the road. They will try to take down one of the toughest teams in the league. In fact, only one loss registered by Mono Vampire in Stadium 29. And Anthony Mclean and Mike Morrison will tip things off. This should be a big one, and we're glad to have all of you with us here for this continuing coverage of the ASEAN Basketball League, as together we rise to greatness. DK, we've been talking about Mono Vampire and just their depth. And that's really been one of the reasons why this team has been a perennial contender. Finals trips from 2 years ago. But it seems like this is just a team now that they have Morrison on the lineup. Just everyone's role is defined, whether or not Preston Knowles is in the lineup.
Well, yeah, Mike Morrison, he just really brings an intensity, a defensive edge that maybe wasn't what Ryan Watkins was bringing into the team earlier, and it just really sets the tone in the post, especially on defense, that really gets them going. Morrison being able to be in the paint, rebound the ball, block shots, really switch the game in transition for Mono Vampire.
And of course, with Singletary leading the charge, things have gone smoothly for Mono Vampire, as the home team will get first crack at the basket. The 5 on the floor is Jonathan Klahan together with Tyler Lam, Morrison, Singletary, and Tyler Lam. There's Singletary, Freddie Lish rather. Morrison testing the range, no go for the first possession of the Mono Vampire. The 5 on the floor for Singapore. That's Marcus Elliott. And together with the vastly improved Leon Kwek in the backcourt, Alexander, Mclean, and Delvin Go completing the 5 for Coach Neo Bencham. Lamb getting the first 2 points of the game.
That's a tough matchup for Leon Kwek. Tyler Lamb is so crafty with his handles. Leon Quek has got to really strengthen up there on that end.
What Mono Vampire does so well, TK, is they hunt for mismatches. Whether it's Tyler Lamb trying to score in transition against Anthony Mclean in their previous game, Preston Knowles was doing that as well. They want to exploit some matches they feel are in their favor.
Yeah, they really have a lot of mismatches going, whether it's with Lamb, Singletary, just anyone up and down, they can really exploit that well.
Quek, the mid-range assassin, can't get that shot to fall. Driving all the way, good shot there, and a 4-0 start for Mono Vampire.
That was a nice pass by Michael Singletary on the break, unselfishly giving it to the streaking Bunserm.
Singapore yet to get their first 2 points of the game. They want the ball in the hands of Delvin Go, who will take his time and grind against Naratip Bunserm. That will not fall. Singletary finding Morrison, and a hot start for Mono Vampire, and they leave the Slingers in the dust. They take a 6-0 lead, and the Slingers sue for time early in this ballgame. It's Mono Vampire with a 6-point lead while the Slingers are scoreless so far to begin this ball game. And we were talking about pace, TK. One of the things that we've been looking at is which team will be able to dictate. Well, majority of the shots of Mono Vampire early on have come in transition.
Yeah, not a good sign for the Slingers, just allowing the Mono Vampire to really get out of that open court, and they can just finish so easily with how fast they can go.
I wonder how jarring it has to be for the team. They've faced the KL Dragons for the past 2 games. All of a sudden, okay, we got to kind of change gears and strategies here because here comes the league-leading Mono Vampire.
Oh, yeah, that's the ABL. That's the ABL life.
Oh, taken away by Elliott. That's a turnover for the Mono Vampire. But look at Lamb lurking like a thief in the night. Nice pass. And another basket from Mono Vampire.
Yeah, Lamb, one of the best hands in the ABL.
Absolutely.
Up among the top 3 all-time in steals and just showing it there.
Oh, we've also got a little bit of history that we're monitoring on the side of Tyler Lamb in this game.
Yeah, just one more 3-pointer to set the ABL all-time record. He's been hanging on that for a while, and hopefully it'll be one of those threes in this game to help the Mono Vampire get the victory.
Take a look at this unselfish basketball. Well, that was the drive by Singletary, forcing Leon Quek to commit the foul. So Singletary will go to the free throw line. Singletary, once again, a spectacular performance against the Taipei Fubon Braves. Singletary finished with 31 points, 13 rebounds, 4 assists, and 2 steals.
Just a day in the office for Singletary, though. Just
a professional.
Continues to put up these absurd numbers to make it a regular line for him.
He is just a professional basketball player playing at the highest level. That's Mike Singletary for you. Go. 13 seconds on the shot clock. When will Singapore get a bucket? Foul on the floor is going to be whistled on Mono Vampire.
Yeah, what I like about the Slingers so far, despite them not being able to put points on the board yet, is that they're going to Delvin Go in that post. He has an advantage in terms of weight a little bit over Naratip Bunserm. He's just got to figure out how to take care of that.
Mclean. Oh, almost a turnover. It is a 2-0, and Lamb will cruise to the layup. And DK, a 12-0 start, and Slingers are scoreless for this first 3.5 minutes of the game.
Yeah, just keeping on punishing them there in transition. All 12 points on fast break.
Elliott, no. Mclean, a second serving, and finally the Slingers are on the board.
Just seeing Mclean playing here for the Singapore Slingers in mono in the GSB Stadium 29 just kind of says how much the ABL has come and the Mono Vampire has come. He was one of their first imports ever since the club was established, and now he's here as the opposing team.
Biggie, as he was more fondly known just a few years ago, now back for revenge. First time not playing in a Thai team here in the ABL. So he gets a free throw to fall, 12 to 3 to score. Little trap here by Singapore. And this is a new ABL record. Tyler Lam, your new three-point king in the ASEAN Basketball League.
Yeah, overtaking Wong Wei Long. He's hit plenty of those over the course of his career. Finally taking over that title.
Quick. Oh, they said that that his feet left the ground. So that's going to be a turnover on the Slingers once again.
Good defense by Freddie Lish just to annoy him enough to hesitate on taking that shot straight up.
That's an underrated part of the game for Freddie Lish. We all know that he's a great scorer, but he's a very pesky defender when there's a matchup that's sort of favorable for him.
Yeah, when he's dialed in, Freddie just locks down, and he has that athleticism to really stay with any opponent in front of him.
Singletary taken away. Good defense there by the Slingers. And Lish is forced to give up a foul. One of the rare errors for Mono Vampire early in this ball game. Take a look at the foul committed as Elliott also kind of just shrugged off Freddie Lish on that drive.
Such a strong guard, Marcus Elliott.
Elliott using that screen from Mclean. It's a pick and a roll. However, that's snapped away by Mono Vampire. There will be 11 seconds on the shot clock for the Slingers.
Despite a slow start, the Slingers have really just got to build into this game, not really rush into trying to claw back into the lead, play to their tempo.
That's been actually an issue for the Slingers. They do tend to start slow occasionally, but then they just sort of find their way into the game. I like what you said. They just find their way, and they just sort of feel what their opponents are trying to do. Then that's when they respond and counter.
Yeah, and this side is where it starts. On defense, they just got to get a start here, right here.
On cue. Oh! Alexander almost caught a body, but nothing comes easy for Xavier Alexander as Boonserm with the heroic challenge on that slam attempt by Alexander. Boy, Boonserm got up there to try to swat that away.
You just got to credit the hustle of Boonserm just to come down and challenge the ABL's all-time leading scorer right there at the rim.
So Alexander will have to earn it the hard way. 19 points, 9 boards, and 6 assists for the X-Man. Gets that first free throw to fall.
This is where Xavier Alexander makes a living, though, just at the line, drawing fouls, attacking the basket.
But if you had to nitpick, DK, the free throw shooting of Xavier Alexander has been an issue this season, as he is shooting 66% from the free throw line. And he missed a lot of crucial free throws down the stretch against the Braves, but it's a good thing he's got a big boy in Anthony Mclean as his teammate.
Yeah, just cleaning up the stuff for him there, right there again.
Back on defense goes Mono Vampire. Less than 5 minutes remaining in the first. Slingers slowly but surely trying to get back into this game. Elliott surveying the field. Alexander's got the ball against Singletary. Alexander drawing 2 defenders on him. Could have been a foul, however, none whistled. Excellent defense once again by Mono Vampire as they force the Slingers to give up a foul in transition. Delvin go, impeding the progress of Singletary. And here's a number for the Slingers. They average the ninth. They're the ninth best in terms of passes per game, assists per game. Only at 16 per contest. What does that say to you about the way that the Slingers like to attack?
Well, they rely a lot on Marcus Elliott and Xavier Alexander just taking it to the rim. Not really a lot of ball movement away from those two guards. And when you have two big-time penetrating guards like Xavier Alexander and Marcus Elliott, that's how you play.
Lamb swatted away by Mclean, but the response leads to that free throws from will lead to free throws rather for Mike Morrison. Now, talked about assists. Well, Mono Vampire fourth in the league in assists per contest at 20.9. And you've got to give credit to guys like Leash and even Preston Knowles, who is also a triple-double machine in his own right.
Yeah, they move the ball really well, Mono Vampire. Especially anyone who doesn't have the ball just really seem to have an idea of where they're moving, where they're supposed to cut to.
Morrison unable to get those free throws to fall. So it remains an 8-point lead for the home squad. Elliott against Lamb. These two were once brothers on Hong Kong Eastern. Now they're at each other's throats. Look at Delvin go. He will have to earn it from the free throw line.
Again, the Slingers just going to Delvin go in the post. He has the speed, he has the power to basically go against any other local player that the Mono Vampire will try to throw at him.
Delvin go, averaging 8.2 points, 6.4 rebounds, and 1.5 assists per contest. Check that rather, it's 10 points per contest. And you look at the numbers, TK, they are increasing every season for this 23-year-old. He's only 23, but it seems like we've literally been watching him play since he was a young lad.
Yeah, we've seen him for nearly a decade now, and just to check every time that he's only 23-year-old, especially at the level he's playing, it's just remarkable.
He will take a seat. Talking about Delvin go. Singletary isolated against Alexander. Tapped away by Xavier. Tough shot from Singletary, but tough players make tough shots, and Singletary getting the deuce.
Yeah, Xavier Alexander did all he could do on defense there. Just a better shot by Singletary.
Here's Biggie against Morrison. Double team comes. Drive in the paint, look good. Courageous drive by Jun Yen Lim for his first 2 points of the contest.
That's a better pass out of the double team by Anthony Mclean. Earlier he passed into a turnover. This time got an assist.
Morrison, free throw line jumper is good. So here's what the Slingers will do to TK. They will stick a 2-3 zone on you, and then they will test to see how you will break that. Then the Dragons had all kinds of problems breaking up that zone. Let's see if Mono Vampire will have the same issues.
They're not sticking in that half court for long, though. Attacking in the fast break nearly every time.
Tyler Lamb with a second three-pointer of the contest. And every single three-pointer now from Lamb is just him getting further and further from the competition.
They're just breaking away. And you know he's not going to stop soon.
Absolutely. Alexander sizing up Singletary. Leash was trying to cheat off his man, but good defense there by Mono Vampire. Quick saving it from going out of bounds. 2 minutes remaining. Elliott finishing. Oh! I spoke too soon. Sorry miss there for the Slingers. Singletary, another miss. Second serving is good for Mono Vampire.
Just the tempo here is really doing well for the Mono Vampire, and it's reflected in the score, 24-10 for the home team.
Janashon Klahan getting his first 2 points of the game. And PK, if you're Singapore, you don't want to be flying up and down the floor, throwing up bombs. That's not really your game for 40 minutes.
Yeah, definitely. As you can see, 10 plus fast break points for the Mono Vampire, and they're just continuing to attack, not stalling down at all in that half court set.
And this is turning into an early rout in the first period, as Singletary making it a 16-point lead, 26-10. The Slingers need to find a crease in the defense. It's not going to happen there via one-on-one plays. Morrison over Mclean, and that's going to be free throws for Big Mike.
Over number 21.
If you had to give just a preliminary take on the Slingers, DK, it looks like we're seeing tired legs from the visiting team right now.
Well, for sure, going on the road in the ABL, that takes a lot of stamina out of you, and they're going to really cherish this timeout right here to regain some energy.
The crowd is starting to fill here in Stadium 29, and if they missed the first part of this first period, they would have missed the Mono Vampire absolutely dominating against the Singapore Slingers. TK 10 fast break points already for the side of Mono Vampire compared to only 2 for the Slingers.
Well, yet Tyler Lamb alone already outscoring the Singapore Slingers. Lamb has 12 points. It's just not been a good pace, good tempo for the Slingers to play in. As you mentioned, though, the traveling, and that might really affect into the tired legs of the Slingers to start this game, but they have got to get back into the groove.
This is where the depth of the Slingers will be tested. I mean, we know that Elliott and Alexander and Mclean will be able to get theirs. What about guys like Kwek and Delvin Go, even Ang Han Bin? What kind of help will they be able to provide? And that's going to be a crucial thing to monitor as well in this game.
Yeah, just like there, Leon Kwek being able to stretch the floor, Ang Han Bin coming in and with that three-point threat. Just giving spacing to Elliott and Alexander is going to be crucial.
Leon Kwek. That's 2 straight misses for Leon. Back tap, extra pass. Alexander will waste away the time. No, he heard me and disagreed. And it'll go to Mono Vampire. These are, some would take questionable decisions right now on offense, TK.
Well, yeah, they're trying to get open shots, good shots, but those three-pointers, they really need that to go in and unlock the paint for Biggie, for Elliott, for Alexander. It's just not going in.
Leash for 3, in and out. 2 seconds, will there be time? No. And an impressive offensive performance by the Mono Vampire. They strike in this first period to take an 18-point lead. Heading into the second quarter, they're up 28-10 in ABL Season 10 action. about to start the second quarter in Season 10 ABL action. It is Mono Vampire starting things off with an 18-point lead against the struggling Singapore Slingers, as the Slingers TK shot 18% in the first quarter compared to 52 for Mono Vampire.
Exactly, only 3 field goals made by the Singapore Slingers. That's got to change. Still not the case here as they start the second quarter.
And also, if you missed it in the first quarter, Tyler Lamb making history. And I think he knew as well when he took that shot, sort of was gesturing that to write something. And he's absolutely right, because he just rewrote history. He is now the all-time leader in three-pointers made in the ASEAN Basketball League.
Yeah, also overtaking Wong Wei Long's spot as the all-time leader, former Singapore Slinger.
How ironic is that?
Although he broke his record as a member of the CLS Knights, though.
Yes. Where he was able to get the championship last year. Mclean, a second free throw is good. So split from the charity stripe for Singapore. Your assessment of the first quarter, TK. What's the biggest thing? What's the biggest adjustment that the Slingers need to make?
Well, they've just got to really handle the ball more carefully. A lot of those points, despite missing shots that turn into transition points for Mono Vampire, that's acceptable because that'll happen. But turnovers, you can control as a team. You just got to get those down and not allow Mono Vampire to get open in those situations.
Yeah, to your point, 7 turnovers for the Slingers in the first quarter, where we know they're one of the most disciplined leagues in teams in the ABL. Zone thrown here by the Slingers to try to stymie this offense of Mono Vampire. Lamb's got 3. Tyler for 3. No. John fighting for the loose ball, keeps that alive for Mono Vampire. Morgan also into the game for the first time. Lamb, leash curling for 3. No. But another offensive rebound for Mono Vampire.
Just the ball not falling into the way of the Slingers, and Mono Vampire making them pay, running around and getting to those loose opportunities.
If you're Mono Vampire, though, you don't want to fall in love with the 3, because they've had so much success penetrating against this defense of the Singapore Slingers in the first quarter.
For sure, but right now they're really putting out a small ball squad. Not really much in size, especially going up against Anthony Mclean. So expect them to penetrate and then kick out for 3s a lot.
Sean over to Morgan. No. And another stop. This is the vaunted zone defense of Singapore that's caused problems for many teams thus far this season. Elliott. Dave for 3. That's good.
As we mentioned in the first quarter, that's a kind of shot that the Slingers really need just to open up the court, the paint for Biggie, and the Mono Vampire just forced to call a timeout here to not let things get out of hand.
Nice start here by the Slingers. They start this quarter with a 6-0 run. The Slingers finally starting to make some headway and possibly get back into this contest, as they've scored 6 unanswered points to start the second quarter. Now only down by 12, 28-16 with 8 minutes to go here in this second period. I think the defense of the Slingers was what sort of fueled them to get the game back into their pace in the second quarter.
Yeah, and they really need to continue taking advantage of the time that Michael Singletary and Mike Morrison are on the bench for the Mono Vampire.
These are valuable moments down the road for Mono Vampire because you don't want to rely on Singletary and Morrison exclusively this entire game. You want guys like Chantachon, to your point, Moses Morgan, to finally find their groove with this team, and even Klahan.
Yeah, especially for a team, as we keep on mentioning how deep they are. You might have the talent deep, but if they're not getting the minutes to really gain their confidence throughout the season, come postseason, sometimes it just doesn't show.
Leash with a steal, Alexander David, and Freddie Leash with another athletic drive to the rim.
Just some quick hands by Freddie Leash, taking it away from the back there.
That stops the run for the Slingers. Mclean parking himself in the paint. Can they get it to him? In a wrestling match. Ooh, that's going to be an offensive foul on Anthony Mclean.
That's an underrated part that we might not have mentioned earlier in this game, is how well the Mono Vampire have been doing to keep the ball away from the hands of Anthony Mclean in the post so far.
Absolutely. They're fronting. They're setting all kinds of physical defenders on him. And Mclean has got a majority of his points off of rebounds and putbacks. Leash for three. And you know what? Chantachon will be whistled for the loose ball foul against a boxing out Delvin Go. This is a guy, TK, talking about Chantachon. Last year was one of the breakout stars in terms of local players for the ABL, but he struggled to find his niche with his team under a new coach as well.
Yeah, he's had his ups and downs, just trying to really figure out his role, and that's something that you really have to talk out with the coaching staff and also with the players themselves. Just trying to figure out where you stand and what the team expects from him.
Elliott against Lamb. Alexander for three. No. Marcus, offensive rebound, and the X-Man can't finish. Mclean is there. Look at all the black shirts on him. Mclean tapped away. Lamb on the run. Morrison to finish. Oh, and Mike Morrison has had all kinds of bad luck when he gets into the paint.
Still able to get the foul. Not enough luck on the other end for the Slingers, just missing everything at point-blank range.
Morrison unable to finish once again. And the courageous, sacrificial offering for an offensive foul from Ding Lun Tai. However, Morrison will go to the free throw line. Morrison, he's got 6 points. He's now 3 of 5 from the free throw line. Got 3 steals as well and 5 boards. So quick start here for Mike Morrison.
That's an area that Morrison does have to improve on, just knocking those free throws consistently. Doesn't have to be a marksman, but just to be able to knock them down once in a while.
Elliott dancing against Singletary. This is the matchup they wanted. Go. Morgan. Alexander, and a foul, or is that going to be a shot clock violation? It's going to be a 24-second shot clock violation, and that's where you see how familiar Morgan is with the game of Alexander. He gave Alexander a lot of space, dared him to take that three-pointer.
Well, yeah, these two guys, Moses Morgan and Xavier Alexander, played their first ABL season in the same year, so they've read a lot of scouting reports on each other. They're familiar with each other, and basically it's all just muscle memory at this point between when they face up against each other.
30% three-point shooter is Alexander this season. X-Man on the run. Alexander running to a brick wall. Mclean running over that brick wall, and Biggie will go to the free throw line once again. Take a look at the contact here. So Mclean just ramming into Mike Morrison. And Mclean, of all the guys on the Slinger squad, is definitely the most familiar with this venue. Competing for many, many years with different leagues for Thailand. So, Biggie Anthony Mclean has been the world import for Singapore this entire season, averaging 15 points and 13 rebounds per contest.
Yeah, last game he played against the Mono Vampire, took in 23 rebounds, an ABL career high for him. He's a guy who really knows how to use his body well.
And he was very effective as well in limiting the offense of Will Artino. Singletary bobbling the ball. 6 seconds, Lamb's gotta go. Rip through move. Tyler, jump shot, no. Oh, Morgan fighting through go and getting his first 2 points of the game.
That's what we've been. That's what I liked about Moses Morgan in these past few games, just hustling, getting to the boards. His threes might be off right now, but he just finds a way to do other things well.
What a pass! Oh, Singletary tried to climb the ladder and smash that over Alexander, but the Slingers not giving up an easy basket on that exchange. These two veterans of the ABL wars colliding in mid-air, and that's going to be a free throw for Singletary. Mike Singletary. A solid season once again for Mono Vampire. Unfinished business though, because he's yet to deliver a championship to this team. Although he's been a fixture in Thailand basketball for many years now.
Yeah, and you know he's really hungry for that ABL title. Continues to play consistently and be the best that he can be for this team.
He's so different on the court and off the court. Talking about Mike, like he's got this intense game face on the court, but off it he becomes gregarious. He takes photos with everyone who approaches him. He's absolutely a different player when he's not in the competition.
Yeah, he's just so calm, soft-spoken, but once he's on the court, he's ready to burst in emotion.
Nice pass there by Desmond O. And Mclean once again will have to earn it from the stripe. The Slingers basically, TK, have been surviving just from the free throw line in this ball game. They only have 5 made field goals, and Mclean will try to get some more points on the board from the free throw line. So 7 of 9 from the free throw line right now is the Slingers. Mclean and Alexander leading scorers with 6 apiece.
I think right now in the second quarter, the pace is favoring back to the Slingers. It's really turning out to a physical bout where teams are fouling each other, sending each other to the line. And this is the pace that the Slingers are really favorites in, but that big first quarter gap is such a huge hole to climb out of.
But what great championship teams do, TK, we've seen this many years in the ABL, is have the ability to play different styles and different paces. And for Mono Vampire, they don't mind playing in a slower pace because they've got guys like Singletary and Lamb that are devastating in the half court. And they've also got 3-point shooters everywhere on the floor.
Yeah, so Rotsun Tonsiri coming off the bench here. That might be a sign, though, that Preston Knowles is once again not able to play in this game despite being in uniform.
Sorotsun Tonsiri getting the first guard of the bench instead of Knowles. But if you're Mono Vampire, you're playing well even without your world import. Dive inside, and Singletary finding Lamb.
And that's also a bad transition defensive sequence for the Slingers, just allowing Moses Morgan to cut in despite Marcus Elliott being right there.
Less than 4 minutes remaining in the first half. It has been all Mono Vampire. Singletary rushing Alexander. That's going to be a foul.
That should actually be Singletary's second foul as well.
Singletary just a bit late to slide to impede the progress of Alexander.
But Alexander is just a really veteran player who knows those angles. The minute he feels like you're out of spot, he's ready to attack, not even looking for it to go to the basket, but he knows that he's going to get that foul.
Well, he scored the most points in ABL history, so I'm sure he probably knows all the tricks in the trade to get buckets in this league.
Yeah, just the points he gets from the free throws is actually a lot more than some players have gotten throughout their entire ABL careers even.
That's a split from Alexander. Misses his first free throw of this contest. Still a 19-point lead for Mono Vampire. Nice pass inside. Here's the thing, though. That's a scary thing if you're the Slingers, TK. When with the team ahead, they get confidence, and guys that maybe are not that comfortable yet, now they're more willing to, try some different passes or shoot with confidence because they know they've got a big buffer.
Yeah, as we see here, Seoul Road series starting to get loose. Chanachon Glahan already scoring a basket in this game. Slingers is just allowing those bench players to get comfortable, and that just makes it so much more difficult to get back into this league.
The Slingers, on the other hand, they basically had their starting lineup in the game, or at least the key players in the game for this entire game, rather. And if I'm not mistaken, Delvin Go has not yet made a single field goal in this contest. After we just talked about him as one of the most important pieces for the Slingers team. Finally, Elliott able to get loose for the three.
And that's what's been missing for the Slingers in this game, is Marcus Elliott knocking down these kind of shots.
Morrison, high-low play. Morgan inside, no. Morgan with the Heat, TK, has been a swingman, small forward, shooting guard, but he's played a lot of power forward here with Mono Vampire.
Yeah, especially with only Mike Morrison as their big man. Coach Alab is getting comfortable with bringing in Moses Morgan as a small ball power forward even at times, and he's been adjusting well.
Because you mentioned that Morgan has struggled from the three-point line in this season, but the threat and the reputation of Morgan is still there, despite him only shooting 31% from the three-point line. So it's a little bit of just a, I guess, small ball like you mentioned, and it's been very effective for Mono Vampire.
Yeah, Moses Morgan started the season well, shooting from beyond the arc, but his past 4 games, he has not made a single three, going 0 for 7 in one game earlier. But nonetheless, he's adjusting, going into the post and slipping through that kind of defense, setting up the plays for Mike Morrison to drop down the high-low just like we saw.
A unforced turnover there on Vijay Ananti. Timeout on the floor with the Mono Vampire Basketball Club still cruising with a 16-point lead. So the numbers on your screens there, 11 turnovers for the Slingers compared to only 7 for Mono Vampire. And we talked about the keys to victory being the rebounding, TK. And right now, 32-15 advantage for Mono Vampire.
Yeah, and 9 of those for the Mono Vampire on the offensive board. Just giving them second chance opportunities that the Slingers can't afford to give up.
The Slingers shooting 26% from the field thus far. The penetration from Desmondo. Challenging Chichayananti, and will go to the free throw line.
Just continually going to that free throw line. 11 points from the charity stripe already in this game for the Slingers, but they just got to get things going from the field.
They're 6 for 23 from the field. And an anti-quick yank as Tyler Lamb entering the fray once again. And if you're Mono Vampire, you don't want to finish off this at the end of this first half on a bad note. Coach Erlip saying, let's bring in Tyler Lamb, let's finish strong.
And that's Coach Andre Elliott, though. He is not willing to give any inch. Despite being up by 10 plus points, he knows the value of momentum and coming into the third quarter on a good note. Just trying to do that here.
Lamb and Morrison will run a two-man game. Tyler, wow! A monster throwdown as Morrison hanging in the air for the slamma-jamma. We saw that coming a mile away as Lamb took his time and waited for Morrison to roll, and they did that in devastating fashion. Singletary, Morgan, three-pointer on the way once again, and Sunton City getting his second of this first half.
Mono Vampire just keep getting great contributions from their deep bench players in these past two games.
Alexander responding with a three-pointer of his own to stop that mini run by Mono Vampire. Singletary elevating over Mclean, no go. He gets his own rebound and reverse stamps at home.
And there we go again, these second chance opportunities. Slingers had a hand on the ball there, just letting it go away.
But you can't rely on Mclean to guard every single guy that's in the paint.
That's true.
Because there was literally Mclean and no other red shirt there. And an offensive foul is whistled. Could go on Leon Queck.
Not a great night for Leon Queck today. 0 for 4 from the field and already second personal foul.
So Queck is 0 for 4 from the field. Delvin Goes not yet attempted a single basket in this ball game. It's been that kind of a night for Singapore. Lamb, no. And that is going to be free throws once again for Singapore, as Morgan getting caught up in that big body of Anthony Mclean.
Morgan, though, immediately recognizing that that was a fault on his end, turning to the coach and yelling, "My bad, my bad."
Was just so tempted to try to get that steal. But you made a good point of Mclean. He's old school in the sense that he never puts the ball down.
Yeah, he just, like you said, he knows how to use his body well. He knows that if he's taking the ball, raising it up over his head, only a few guys will be able to reach up and get it there. Not only on the defensive side, but on the offense, if he does that, if he gets the ball near the rim, you can be pretty sure that he's going to get a high percentage chance off to the basket.
Mclean continuing to get buckets from the free throw line. 6 for 8. Check that. 7 for 9 right now. Morrison stepping to that jumper. Hey! And that could be another foul on Morgan. And if that is going to be foul number 2 on Moses.
And again, that's a foul far away from the basket. You got to avoid those.
Basically giving freebies right now to Singapore, as Elliott was just fighting for that rebound. No one not really in position to try to challenge. Leash will enter the fray for what could be the final offensive possession for Mono Vampire in this first half. You've got to imagine that there will be a run coming in the second half from Singapore.
Well, yeah, you know that Singapore Slingers, they never really back down. They never give up. And that's why they've been to the finals 4 times in the past 5 years. They're just a team that really never gives up. And you can't let them out of sight.
Lamb will handle against Elliott in the backcourt. Oh, that will be a turnover. Good defense there by Elliott.
As we were mentioning, though, Coach Andre Elliott does not want to go into the halftime locker room giving the Singapore Slingers some kind of momentum, but that seems like that could be happening here. The Slingers getting a couple of defensive stops in these past few possessions.
Marcus. Three-pointer on the way. That could have been big for Desmond. No. 2 seconds. There's time. Singletary to beat the buzzer. Well, despite everything that's happened, TK, it's only a 14-point lead. Singapore will enter the locker room. They'll say, I'll take it, despite what they've seen from their team in this first half.
Yeah, the second quarter, they did a really good job just staying along and getting the game to go their way. And heading off to halftime with only a 14-point deficit, they're going to live with that.
But it's Mono Vampire that has dictated this ball game. They will enter the half with a commanding 14-point lead. Let's see if the Slingers will be able to make a comeback or if Mono Vampire will finish strong in the second half of your ASEAN Basketball League action.
On the way for two. On the way for two. Thailand.
At the half, it is a commanding lead for Mono Vampire. They take a 14-point lead into the third quarter, 48-34 against the Singapore Slingers. It has been all Mono Vampire and their offense. However, the Slingers were able to outscore Mono Vampire in the second quarter to get some life heading into the second half. You've got Jack Araneta together with TK, Sajitam, Kulsum Boom, and TK. A tale of different, of a hot start for the home team, but the Slingers slowly but surely finding their way back into this game.
Well, yeah, the Mono Vampire, they're just controlling on those hustle points, the second chance points, fast break points. That's what got them really going into that in that first quarter with an 18-point lead. But the Singapore Slingers, they settled down in the second quarter, got back to their game, played more physical, got to the line. They got 17 of their 34 points from the charity stripe so far in this game. So right now it's just a matter of turning things up a little bit more in the second half for the Slingers to get back into this game.
The big concern, though, for us of Singapore will be, for sure, at the half, the discussion revolved around not giving up that many fouls, because you're basically bailing out Singapore and their struggling offense in this game. So if that's not going to be there for them in the second half, where are they going to get their points?
Well, they've really got to go find a way to get Anthony Mclean more involved on offense. Only one attempt. And as you also mentioned, Delvin Go, no attempts at all, though he has been hampered with 3 fouls. But they've just got to really get their big men going.
You see there's some of the lovely faces on the side of Mono Vampire. Good sized crowd here during this Wednesday basketball action. And why not? We've seen a Mono Vampire game, Mono Vampire squad rather, that is firing on all cylinders. But again, it's just those little attention to details. That's what makes a championship team, not giving up fouls and not letting your teammates, your opponents off the hook.
Yeah, and with these two first quarters, the first and the second one, going into different directions.
Yes.
Mono Vampire controlling the first, Singapore Slingers controlling the second. These first few minutes of the third quarter are going to be the most important minutes, could be, of this entire game for who is able to take control early on.
Absolutely. Now, for Mono Vampire, the question will be just how sustainable will their offense be heading into the second half. They shot 47% from the field. They shot 4 of 11 from the three-point line, good for 36%. But the number you've got to love, DK, if you're the coach, if you're Coach Urlep, 16 assists in the first half alone. That's a beautiful number in whatever league you're playing, especially if it's in 40 minutes of action.
Yeah, and just getting everyone involved. 8 players on the scoreboard in this game so far for the Mono Vampire.
And that's a kickball on Singapore, but that's the kind of hustle you love if you're Coach Neo Ben Chiang, as Leon Kwek diving on the floor right there.
You got to set the tempo early in this second half. Got to take control.
Absolutely.
Swing the game your way.
Ball will go back to Mono Vampire. So Mono Vampire in the first half was led by Tyler Lam with 12 points, 3 rebounds and 2 assists, and Morrison at 11 points, 8 rebounds and 3, and Freddie Lish getting that first 2 points to kick things off here in this first half, and second half rather. Pass there for Alexander, trying to find Mclean. And Mclean has been a foul magnet in this ball game.
And again, as we were talking heading into this quarter, just trying to get Mclean more involved in the offensive scheme, and even if he's not getting that touch there, he's drawing a foul on Mike Morrison.
50-34, 9 and 22 remaining. Here's Alexander inbounding against Singletary. Leon Kwek still looking for a bucket in this ball game. Give and go, read perfectly by Leash. Freddie on the run. Lamb for 3. That's good. Hot start once again for Mono Vampire.
Perfect sequence on both ends by Freddie Lish, anticipating the pass and kicking out from the 3. The Slingers have to take a quick timeout here.
Frustration etched on the face of the coaching staff of Singapore as they give up another hot run to start this third period.
On the way for 2, number 3.
Early timeout there asked for by the Singapore Slingers coaching staff, as the lead once again ballooning to 19 points. And all of the good feelings for the Slingers as they head into that locker room has just dissipated, because right now they're starting with an even bigger deficit, DK.
And not the best way to start the half for the Slingers.
And a foul is going to be called on Klahan, on the penetrating Marcus Elliott. Take a look here at the contact, as Elliott just trying to find a way into the basket, but he runs into the guns of Klahan and he gives up that foul.
But if you look at that play, once again, there are just so many bodies packed in the paint for both teams, and that's just because the Slingers have not been able to spread out the floor with their shooters. Just everyone packing down in that shaded area.
Teams will dare Singapore to shoot for as long as they're missing. And right now, Singapore is 3 for 11 from beyond the arc. That has not hurt Mono Vampire, so they're just going to pack the paint and dare the Slingers to beat them from outside. Especially because they need help against Mclean. Morrison. Singapore switching everything. Singletary elevating, and just a precise, gorgeous offense there by Mono Vampire.
Singletary not exactly having the biggest scoring game, but he's been able to live with that with everyone contributing and himself putting up 5 assists so far in this game.
Alexander eyeball to eyeball against Singletary. They get a switch. Dive inside, Mclean. And free throw machine, Anthony Mclean will go back to the familiar confines of the 15-foot charity stripe.
And as you see, there's just so many black shirts ready to attack Anthony Mclean on the penetration just because they don't have to spread out to the other shooters on the floor for the Slingers.
So Mclean has gotten almost all of his offense from the free throw line. 7 of 10 from the free throw line. He's got 9 points, 8 rebounds, and 3 assists. Alexander has got 10 points and 4 rebounds. Combined, the world imports have scored 27 of Singapore's 35 total points. So that's obviously not a good ratio for the performance for the Slingers, DK.
For sure, they just really need Leon Kwek and Delvin go to get something going on that side of the floor.
Oh, look at Leash dancing with Leon. Creating some space, and Morrison, no. Steal, and Freddie Leash flexing on him as he makes it a 21-point advantage.
Once again, those second chance opportunities, hustle points.
He's so fun to watch. He's just so much fun when he's engaged. Mclean missing on the throwdown. Elliott getting a second serving. Marcus, beautiful move to the rim.
Finally getting a basket. And Marcus Elliott with just the effort it took to get that going for the Slingers.
Singletary finally saying, can I get a shot here? I've been dishing it out this entire game. Let me just check if I'm hot. No. For Xavier, ball will remain with Singapore. But however, referees are conferring, and they change it. It is going to go back to Mono Vampire.
The fans were quick to react to that call. You can instantly hear them trying to get the ball back to their team immediately.
Leon Kwek will go to the bench. And again, there are times for a guy as talented as Leon. Oh, wait, just a minute before that. However, there's almost a lob from Leash to Morrison. But Alexander will go the other way and score the deuce plus the foul.
On the other side of the floor, though, Freddie Leash laying down on the floor a bit. May have took the forearm of Anthony Mclean to the head. Should not be anything serious.
Oh, not just a forearm, but an elbow. And anytime you get hit by a man nicknamed Biggie, you're gonna feel that. But Mclean, we know, just a very professional player, immediately checked on Freddie Leash there. And Leash is just trying to shake off the cobwebs of the people's elbow from Anthony Mclean.
Yeah, good move by Andre Alab, though, just to take him off the floor, let him shake it off. You have a sizable lead enough to let him sit there for a while.
Especially when Sunton Siri has been also shooting it well from outside. Scored, I believe that's already season high, 6 points for Sunton Siri after his 2 made 3-pointers in the first half.
Yeah, he's a third string point guard, usually rarely coming off the bench after Preston Knowles.
Elliott with a steal. Marcus, no. But free throws coming once again as Singapore just trying to grind back into this game. Nothing pretty about the way Singapore is playing. But when you are struggling from the field, you got to get everything. And you've just got to hold on and just try to find a way to get back into this game. A timeout is called amidst an animated bench right now for Mono Vampire. They still have the lead here in this third period. It's a 17-point lead for Mono Vampire. Take a look at the Battle of the Bigs. 11-8 for Morrison. 10-8 for Anthony Mclean. The two big men have basically canceled out each other. But when you go to the matchup between Tyler Lam and the rest of the locals of Singapore, it's not close. That's one of the reasons why the Slingers are down by 17. As Marcus Elliott troops to the free throw line. Chuck Araneta together with TK Sajatam Kulson Boom at the Stadium 29 in beautiful Bangkok, Thailand. Free throws once again, the savior for the Slingers in this third quarter, TK.
Just continuing to put points on that from that charity stripe, but they really need something else. Delvin Go and Leon Quick are averaging 20 points combined heading into this game, and right now only have one between them.
Singapore's defense, though, has started to pick up after this stretch. Take a look at Singletary and Alexander getting really physical there.
Those two guys just have been going at each other, whether it's in the ABL and sometimes in the local Thailand Basketball League as well. Just two great guys that have a really great matchup against each other.
Elliott is starting to get more aggressive on offense. Likes the matchup. Look at Marcus. That's an MVP move from Marcus Elliott.
Just biting back in right now, 13-point deficit. They can cut this down to single digits with just a couple of more stops.
Did you get the feeling after that timeout from Mono Vampire? As Singletary knocks down that three, that Coach Erlap maybe was feeling the momentum starting to shift to Singapore.
Oh, definitely, and he was not pleased with the guard player, Sorotsun Tonsiri. You could hear him audibly expressing his displeasure immediately after that turnover.
Oh, Delvin Go finally getting a bucket to fall, and that could be a good sign for Singapore. Mono Vampire getting a little bit too careless with that basketball here. As also good to see Freddie Leach back in the game after absorbing a big elbow to the head from Anthony Mclean. Seal, Morrison putting the moves. Lamb for three. In and out for Tyler.
A great defense there by Anthony Mclean, just staying on the ground against Mike Morrison. That forced the Mono Vampire in a difficult shot.
Oh, that's a three. And here come the relentless Singapore Slingers.
Still a double-digit lead, but the Slingers have been really getting the momentum to go their way.
Oh, that's a turnover. And this could be an opportunity, TK, for the Slingers to get down this deficit to single digits for the first time since basically this first quarter.
You can see the frustration of Coach Andre Erlep earlier there, just an animated coach ready to know how he feels, to show how he feels.
Reminds me a little bit of Coach, you remember Coach Tony Garbanoto from Saigon?
A personal favorite there.
From every possession moment was just an emotional response. Look at Mclean battling, twisting, pivoting, and spinning, and a foul given up by Mono Vampire.
They looked a bit frustrated there. A lot of contact down low, just everyone taking a swipe at him. Didn't matter in the end.
That's a foul. That's a foul. That's another foul. That's another foul. That's basically 5 fouls on Anthony Mclean. But Biggie will go to the free throw line.
McLean already 8 fouls called on him in this game. That's a lot of contact for one single person.
These free throws have been valuable for Singapore as they continue to get back into this game.
9 of 13 from the floor so far before this one from McLean. So just doing a really good job of consistently knocking them down for Biggie.
And a 22 for 28 is Singapore from the free throw line. They've had their struggles from the free throw line in previous games, but you know, they picked a good time to get accurate from the charity stripe. Lob, too strong. Go is able to save that from going out of bounds. Here comes the Slingers. A chance to get this into single digits. Lim for 3. That's an air ball. Tyler blowing by Elliott on the run. Oh, Tyler tried to slam that home.
Ooh, that came out of nowhere, that attempt.
Absolutely. Damn, also from out of nowhere. Singletary on the run. And a foul is given up by the Slingers as Lim will commit that foul. Take a look at the contact on that drive, but boy, I was expecting Lam to do his usual graceful layup, but all of a sudden he tried to smash that one home.
Out of nowhere, especially with a guy right in his lane. You never expect that from Lam, but probably just feeling it right there.
Those young legs on a Wednesday night in Bangkok. Singletary first free throw falls. So back to an 11-point lead, 61-50 with less than 4 minutes remaining in the third.
Got to give Slingers credit for coming back into this game and staying within 10, 11 points right now. But Mono Vampire, they're doing it on their end, just getting turnovers, sloppy passes, and allowing the Slingers to do what they do and come back into the game.
Almost a steal from Leash. Lim penetrating, getting all the way. Oh, an aggressive drive. Good looking move right there from Junyen Lim.
Like Morrison is pleased with something on that side.
He's still on the other side.
I think there might have been some contact that he was not pleased with the refs for not calling, forcing him into a slight limp.
Substitution.
I'm not sure if he's staring daggers at the referee or a player from Singapore. But Morrison has basically had to play this entire game trying to slow down Anthony Mclean. Oh, it's on Delvin Go.
Yeah, it seems to be some contact there, but didn't look like anything malicious from Go.
But when you're in the heat of a battle, you take everything personally. And
Mike Morrison, one of the guys to really...
Sure. We'll let you know how he feels, to say the least. But this could be a break for the Slingers. Nice pass. Elliott for 3. 3-second violation. And assistant coach Michael Johnson was also saying to Lim, just take the shot when you're already in the paint.
Oh, yeah, but that's a tendency that McLean sometimes runs into, just camping in there a little bit too long, and the opposing teams are ready to point that out to the refs from time to time.
Less than 3 minutes remaining in the third. Lish is starting to get bothered or annoyed by the defense of Junyen Lim.
17 seconds for shot clock.
2:45 remaining. Lam and Tirawat Chantachon conspiring to get that three-pointer. The foul whistled on Singapore. That is going to be the second team foul for the Slingers. That's going to go on Delvin Go.
Even bigger though, that's the fourth on Delvin Go, so that's going to force out the depth of the Singapore Slingers as they bring Leon Kwek back to the floor here.
And that's been a problem also for Delvin. That's why he hasn't really been able to find his rhythm in this ball game. Morgan.
Morgan just doing work, being physical nearly every second he's on the court.
Morgan and Leon Kwek. These two guys also have had a lot of battles, whether with the Saigon Heat or in the Singapore Slingers. But a turnover there from Freddie Leash. So another chance for Singapore to get this deficit back into single digits.
Nearly 10 turnovers alone in this quarter for the Mono Vampire. Again, allowing the Slingers to stay this close.
Alexander will handle together with Elliott, Leon Kwek, Junyan Lim. They want Mclean in the post. Can't get it to him. Elliott for three, no. And rebounded there by Singletary, who will have to play in the front court together with, I believe that's Shantachon. No, check that. That's not Tiro at Chantachon. That is Sengtong. Singletary eyeballing Alexander. That's an air ball.
A rare air ball for Michael Singletary. Trying to plead his case to the refs, though, that might have gotten some contact on the arm, as Andre Erlip supporting that as well.
Moses getting some space. Tough shot. Excellent defense there by the Slingers. Alexander. No. Another foul is going to be called on Singapore.
Morgan just hustling and staying physical no matter who is going at him, drawing these fouls from the Slingers.
I think that's the third foul of Junyan Lim, all in this stretch in the third quarter alone. However, the problem is that's going to be free throws for Moses Morgan.
The irony about all of this, though, is that the Slingers have been the one that have been drawing fouls, going to the line throughout this entire game, but the Mono Vampire have been spreading the fouls well across all of their players.
Yeah.
Not many guys staying that are in foul trouble, unlike the Slingers, who have key guys. Delvin Go with 4, Leon Kwek with 3, and that's turning out to be something that's hurting them in this late game.
It's basically forcing Elliott to take on 5 guys. Because Alexander's not really been a factor on offense in this game. He's only got 12 points. Dive. Swatted away by Morgan. Lamb on the run. Finding Mike. No go. Rebounded by Leon. And foul once again will send the Xavier Alexander to the free throw line.
One thing about Moses Morgan that some people were nitpicking early on in his ABL career is that he wasn't intense enough, he wasn't physical enough, taking too many threes. But in this game, he's done everything to take that away, and that block on that defensive end was just spectacular.
Yeah, in his first few years with Saigon Heat, we knew him, TK, as a knockdown three-point shooter, but his role has changed here with Mono Vampire. And because, guys like Tyler Lamb, Mike Singletary, they can take care of the three-point shooting. But he's found this niche, and it seems like he's found a home as well with this Thailand-based squad.
Yeah, it just took a little bit of time for him to really get used to coming off the bench, doing a bit of the dirty work, but he's grown into it and accepting it really well.
What a pass inside. Defense of Mclean is there. Kwek walking into that mid-range jumper, no go.
Still struggling. Usually that is Leon Kwek's shot.
Yes. Lam will handle against Leon. 14 seconds. Sengtong. Mclean there once again to bother that shot. That's the value of having a biggie in the middle for Singapore. Marcus thought about it. They want to get a big man inside. Mclean. 4 seconds. And Mclean caught dancing to the wrong song. And basically, Mono Vampire looked like they were trying to trap Mclean there in the painted area.
Yeah, that's really worked well for them earlier in this game, and not a lot of off-the-ball movement for the Slingers as well to pressure Mono Vampire to do something and forcing another turnover out of the Slingers.
Mono can hold for the final shot if they wanted. That's what Leash is trying to do against Junyan Lim. Freddy. Seng Tong, the pump fake. Drive all the way! Gotta love how Mono Vampire finished off that quarter, TK.
Yeah, a great move by Sang Tong just to go in and get them a little bit of a boost heading into the final 10 minutes of this game.
The Slingers only able to cut 2 points from the lead of Mono Vampire as we head into the final 10 minutes of this ball game. Only 10 minutes separate the Mono Vampire from a win or the Singapore Slingers from a comeback. As the league-leading Mono Vampire team has looked every inch like the contender they are, but Singapore obviously refusing to give up. They will try to mount a comeback. They will start this quarter down by 12 points.
Mono Vampire did a good job to really get on top of it and income swing there a bit at the end of the third, but the Slingers are still down by only 12. They can make a run, just need some defensive stops.
Delvin go. Took that shot. However, foul is going to be whistled on Singletary. I'll check that.
Personal foul,
Sang Tong, rather, will be called for the foul. So ball will remain with Singapore.
It's just so tough to contain Anthony Mclean in that seal.
Yeah, we keep talking about Mono should not foul, but you try not fouling Anthony Mclean when he decides he wants to get there in the paint.
There we go again.
It's kind of like a downgraded version of what they had with Sam Deguara, because Mclean, for a guy his size, has such soft hands.
Yeah, he
right?
really has a soft touch around the rim. Has an nifty little right hook as well. Unable to go into that this game, but yeah, they just use their size so well, and the team is ready to utilize it too.
Good to see also Mike Morrison back in the game for Mono Vampire. Was clipped by Delvin Go after a battle for that loose ball. However, he's gonna be back into this game. And remember, Mono Vampire is playing without Preston Knowles, who has missed his second game due to an injury. Morgan barking at Marcus Elliott.
Moses Morgan, one to show his emotions on the court as well. Was talking near the entire game against Chuck Garcia when they faced the Fubon Braves a couple of days ago.
So right now it looks like with Singapore, we've talked about them at times. A Singletary letting it fly, in and out for Mike. Basically, the Slingers are just going to try to force feed the ball inside and see what happens there, because the three-point shots have just not been falling in this game.
Yeah, that's what they have to do in these kind of situations. They lack the shooters to really spread it out, and they just got to keep on attacking and hoping they get to the line.
That was Alexander probing. Leon Queck, pull-up jumper, no. Great defense there from Leash. Singletary will turn on the Jets and overwhelm Xavier Alexander with that spin and finish.
Singletary just gets to the basket anytime he decides and makes his mind to go there.
The X-Man with a big shot from beyond the arc to get his team to within 11. Check that. That's only now a 9-point deficit for Singapore. Excellent defense there from Delvin.
Yeah, you heard that. Marcus Elliott was praising the defense of Delvin Go, even with 4 fouls, to stay with Moses Morgan and stopping him from scoring.
It's a good reminder also for everyone. Go is playing in foul trouble. Delvin. Flip shot, no go. Oh, if that's a foul, that could be it for Delvin Go in this contest.
And that's poor awareness from Delvin Go. You know the risk of really rushing into that guy at the line. It's an easy call for the ref, despite there not being much contact.
Part of it may be the momentum of Delvin, but why swipe when Morgan clearly already had that loose ball? And that is it for Delvin Go. It's been a quiet night for Delvin, only with 3 points on 1 of 3 from the field. And this is part of the development of this young man, keeping him engaged, DK, for this entire game. He does tend to fluctuate from game to game, and he was not here in this contest.
Yeah, it just has, sometimes he just has trouble getting baited into those easy fouls. So he's just got to really grow into this role, recognize that he has a bigger part, bigger responsibilities in this lineup, and he has to stay on the floor.
Alexander getting some space. Morgan whistled for a foul. That's going to be Alexander at the free throw line once again.
Number 11.
Seemed like a bang call, but maybe there was a foul on the body. But Morgan once again, if you're Moses, what are you going to do if Alexander's barreling at you full head of steam?
Yeah, but that's what Xavier Alexander does do well. He creates that line drive to the basket, and Moses Morgan unable to get just half a step in there. And once you're just a half a step slow, it's easy to get baited into that foul.
Lead is down to 8. Slowly but surely, Singapore grinding back into this contest. Trying to turn defense into free throws. Tyler attacking. Foul will be in the act of shooting. That is going to be free throws once again for Tyler Lamb.
Grind is the perfect word for how the Slingers have got back into this game. They're still only shooting 31% from the field. They just keep on attacking the basket over and over again. 25 points from the line.
We've been talking about the struggles of Singapore from the three-point line, but Mono Vampire's not doing much better. They're at 6 for 18 for 33% from the field. That's why they're also taking it to the paint over and over again.
Yeah, that's a big swing for the Mono Vampire. You can expect the Slingers to not take many threes and not make many threes, but Mono Vampire, that's a big part of the game. To see that they're not getting that many shots from that range, it affects in them playing their game.
Right. Alexander looking for back-to-back triples. That one will not fall. Lamb on the run. Moses Morgan. Bang, bang! What was the number? Past 2 games without a three-pointer?
Yeah, finally getting loose there.
Assistant number 1.
And that pushes back the lead to double digits, 72-60, forcing Singapore to sue for time with 7 minutes remaining in the game. You could feel just how badly Moses Morgan wanted that last one, especially in the midst of the Singapore Slingers run, as Marcus Elliott leading the way with 17 points. But the question now is going to be, do the Slingers have enough time to mount this comeback?
That was a really big three, pushing the lead back to 12 by Mono Vampire, though, but Slingers have really got to do their work on the defensive end.
Turnover there for the Slingers. Here come Mono Vampire. Good seal there by Leon Quick. Singletary called for the foul.
Again, though, another turnover by the Mono Vampire. That's been what's keeping them away from blowing this game.
And that's also the 4th foul of Mike Singletary in this ball game. So if they lose Singletary, that could be a big piece. Elliott, no. Mclean battling for the loose ball. Pitched ahead by Leash. Lamb. You could tell, you could feel Leash trying to calculate what are the odds that I can get this pass to go. And then when he let it fly, Lamb basically said, okay, let's just go for it.
that was a nearly perfect pass, though, just a little bit off.
Absolutely. Sometimes you just got to let Freddie Leash be Freddie Leash. Oh, the crossover. Freddie. All the way.
That's what Freddie Leash being Freddie Leash leads to.
That's the angel and the devil on both sides of Freddie Leash every game. Elliott for 3, responding from outside.
Slingers just denying to go away.
Less than 6 minutes remaining in the ball game. Still a lot of time in this one if Singapore can get some stops. Tyler Lamb, mid-range jumper will not fall.
Thailand's been a bit cold. He started the game with 12 points in the first quarter, but has only scored 4 points since.
Alexander, out of control. He missed actually Lim, who was there in the paint. Singletary. From out of nowhere comes Xavier, but that's a foul once again on Singapore.
Just such controlled movement there by Singletary to avoid the defense, almost getting an open lane to the basket.
First a sidestep, and then he went straight up, so did Alexander, but he got caught on the body. So Mike Singletary at the free throw line. 18 points, 8 rebounds, 6 assists. Again, just the professional. It's a nice name to call Singletary, the professional. As he just takes care of business. Another day in the office, as you said, DK, for Mike Singletary.
Yeah, it has a nice ring to it. Hopefully it catches on.
Should have copyrighted that when we had the chance. But back to a 13-point lead for Mono Vampire. Elliott running into Morrison. Jab step. He's got Morrison on a mismatch. On a switch, rather. Alexander for 3. That's good. And Moses Morgan finally paying the price for letting Xavier Alexander wiggle loose for 3.
A decent night for Xavier Alexander. 3 for 8 from downtown.
Morgan.
3 seconds.
Morgan was bothered by Mclean there, just hanging out there in the paint. Singapore once again with a chance to inch closer. Quack for 3. Bang, bang!
A series of threes by the Slingers from Elliott, Alexander, and Queck. Slingers suddenly back into this game.
Before that shot, Queck was 0 for 60 in the game from the field. What a time to get his first shot of the ball game. Freddie Leash going behind the back. But Morgan able to finish and get the bang at the bucket.
Oh, that just sucks the life out of the Slingers' comeback attempt.
The angel and the devil working hand in hand, but you know what? Sometimes you just got to make those things happen. That left Morgan open for that offensive rebound. So much fun to watch Freddie Leash. I mean, it's not always the right decision, but sometimes something wrong feels so right, DK, especially on that drive.
Such an entertaining guy.
That's a big turn of events there. And has basically a 5-point swing. Roll. Clean, yes.
Getting one of those baskets where he doesn't get hit somewhere. A rare one for the big man.
So Singapore still hanging around. Lam getting that over. Alexander on the run with Lish to beat. Oh, a steal from Freddie.
What a game Freddie has been having today.
It's not purely box score stats, Sticky, but it's just the impact he has on his team. Lam losing control of that ball. But where are we going? It'll stay. It'll stay in Thai Town. Did Leon get a hand on that?
Seemed like so. It was very close though. And we have the benefit of that slow motion replay.
11 seconds.
But you know what? Even if it did not get off Leon's hands, I've never seen him complain about a call.
Leon's just so
11 seconds.
well behaved, we like to say.
Yeah. I've never seen him complain or bark at the referee. Nice pass by Leash. Finding Morrison for 2.
Freddie Lish just having a really good game, as you mentioned, impacting and also adding in that entertainment factor as well.
That's the 5th assist for Freddie Leash, together with 6 rebounds and 3 steals. Bothering Junyan Lim. Alexander spinning, running into Morrison, and that's going to be free throws for X.
Bunker number 22.
These Stadium 29, this gym TK is mic'd up, so you can basically hear everything that's happening. All of the barking, the contact when they ram into each other.
Yeah, and I love to hear that. It really gives you a different perspective of what the players are saying on the floor, and sometimes the coach barks something as well.
22 points for Xavier Alexander.
It hasn't really felt like the Slingers have bid in this game, but they're still down by only 8 points.
If X got that free throw to fall, and he did. 81 to 73. Leash letting it fly. That's good. Freddie Leash for 3. He's in double figures with 11.
It's just one of those Freddie Lish games, it seems.
Playing without Preston Knowles, he gets the start, and he has been a supernova for Mono Vampire.
Junyon stepping up nicely with the struggles of Delvin Go and Leon Quake, showing a lot of potential.
Yes. This guy came out of nowhere, and he's been a factor for the Slingers. He's got 6 points in this game. Leash behind the back. Morrison can't finish. A lot of contact there. No whistle. We're approaching the last 2 minutes of this ball game. Lam and Lim fighting. It'll go to Mono Vampire.
Slingers could have gotten a swing back.
Lam.
Yeah,
And that was Lam and Lim battling for that loose ball, but Tyler, the veteran, was able to get the last say there. 2 minutes remaining in this ball game. Will Mono Vampire be able to close this one out against a relentless Singapore squad? Singletary. Mike. The rainbow shot will not fall. Morrison. Second serving, no. Singapore needs a basket in the quickest way. Alexander for three. No. And that is going to go outside. And again, if you're Mono Vampire Tiki, you're playing the math. You'd rather have X from outside than getting inside, possibly forcing a foul.
Yeah, it might not have been the most ideal attempt for the Singapore Slingers there. Barely any ball movement, getting the shot into rhythm and bouncing away, not even giving a chance for a second attempt.
Freddie Leash twirling that ball like a yo-yo. Morrison, no. Morrison is getting frustrated, just smacking everything that's in front of him. Timeout on the floor as the Slingers will prepare for their last stand in this ball game. 1 minute and 12 remaining. The matchup of our two-star World Imports has lived up to its billing, TK. 20 points apiece and 6 dimes apiece for Singletary and Marcus Elliott. Those two guys have stepped up. But it has been players like Freddie Leash that has been the difference for the squad. Moses Morgan as well, who's responded with one of his best games for Mono Vampire this season with 12 points and 6 rebounds.
Yeah, he's coming off the bench, providing some physicality and knocking down that big three just as the Slingers cut it down to single digits.
Elliott letting it fly. No. And not really. Mono Vampire expected a shot from Elliott. Leash running into trouble. Almost a steal. But the ball will. Two referees are looking at different directions. Scramble for the loose ball. You can see the emotion etched on the face of Marcus Elliott, who knew that was a big chance for his team to get a basket there.
Coming off an emotional game against the KL Dragons where they came away with the win. Slingers probably wanted to make it back-to-back here. Just not going their way in getting the shots to go down.
Instead, it looks like Mono Vampire will be able to pick up their 3rd straight win of this ABL season. Number 1 in the league with an 11-4 record. Marcus. Oh, that's a turnover. That could be it for Singapore. Impressive performance by Mono Vampire, TK. The way that they were able to control this entire game and stay poised. And Tyler Lam will send everyone home. Beep, beep. Good night, Bangkok.
Yeah, just reminding one more time that he's the all-time ABL leader in 3 points made, closing out the game here as it seems.
There were Morgan and Alexander. Mclean refusing to let go of that ball. Will 3 guys be jumping it up here in Stadium 29?
Just gotta love that about Moses Morgan, though. Just not letting go. Just fight 2 big arms.
He's a classic baller, TK, who plays beyond his size and refuses to let his lack of height be an issue. He's going to battle every single person in a red jersey right now.
Just a well-fought battle by Morgan and the entire Mono Vampire team. Again, without Preston Knowles in this game.
Elliott. Mclean. No. X can finish. Second serving. And that is going to be a foul on Mono Vampire.
And that's the story of the Singapore Slingers in this game. X just missing a point-blank shot. Shooting barely over 30% in this entire game. It's the frustrations of the Singapore Slingers piling up quarter after quarter.
Impressive performance as well by Morrison, who fouled out. And you know what? He may not have had the numbers that Mclean did, but he did an excellent job of battling and limiting the effect of Anthony Mclean so that his other teammates, guys like Tyler Lam, Singletary, and Morgan, they could also deliver on offense.
But yeah, and you look at his numbers. For a big man, you look at the points and the rebounds. Morrison has 13 and 12, but he had 6 assists in this game. As you mentioned, getting everyone their opportunities to get involved in the offense.
6 seconds remaining. Singapore will not foul. And Mono Vampire getting the win in Stadium 29. It may have been a double-digit victory, TK, but it was anything but an easy win for the home team.
Yeah, give the credit to the Singapore Slingers. They weren't feeling it shooting from the field in this game, but just kept on relentlessly attacking, trying to get the points from the free throw. And they just got to go back and regroup to figure out how to get things going on offense faster.
As is with any battle between facing Singapore, it was a grind, it was a slugfest. Both teams shot less than 45% from the field. Singapore shot 34%. But for Mono Vampire, they had Tyler Lam, and early on, he was a difference maker for their squad.
Yeah, scoring just 12 points in that first quarter. Set the tone for an 18-point lead for the Mono Vampire. They never looked back.
There's also this beautiful eye-in-the-sky play as Lam finding Morrison for the lob and the hammer. And that was the freewheeling part of the game for a Mono Vampire until the Slingers really decided to battle and get the victory. Again, your final score, 87-77 in favor of Mono Vampire. For TK Sajatam Kulsonbun, my name is Chuck Araneta, and good night from Bangkok, Thailand, in your Season 10 of the ASEAN Basketball League.
go right there. Another block by Delvin.
Wide open is Regulus. Back-to-back triples for Moto Vampire.
Only 7 remaining. He makes his move. Young forces it up and in!
CC hasn't made a shot before that.
Pretty good so far here in the first half.
Lie. Oh, everyone for the Black